So the OnePlus 10T has actually been around for about a week now, and I personally have been using it for the past 2 weeks because I got it before the launch, and I have a lot of thoughts to share with you guys. Now today's video, the review itself is going to be focused mainly on user experience, how I actually felt using the OnePlus 10T consistently daily for the past 2 weeks. And it's not going to be talking so much about those numbers, although I will point out a couple of numbers that actually matters. Alright, so let's jump into it right away. Now in terms of using the OnePlus 10T, my first and most importantly that I want to share with you, the user experience is all about how fluid and fast the device is. Now this is really thanks to the optimizations that OnePlus has been doing on the 10T. Honestly speaking, even on previous variants of OnePlus flagship phones, I've never ever felt like, the phone was not powerful enough, it's sluggish and all that. I never felt any of those, and the same story can be said about the OnePlus 10T. Now obviously it is being powered by the latest Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, so everything is going to be blazing fast. It doesn't matter if you're just using it on the daily, launching your basic apps. You can see that I have a ton of applications on the phone itself because that's what I've been using. So no issues with launching the apps and all that. Is very, very fast. OnePlus even said that, it can carry a lot of apps in the background. I think it was like 30 something if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, you have a lot of apps that are actually still running in the background and it doesn't slow down. Now another part of the performance that I was also really impressed is of course in terms of the gaming. Now I play games like Genshin Impact, Mobile Legends and PUBG quite a fair bit, and I noticed that on this device it has again been one of the best performances. Now of course some of you guys might argue that for Genshin Impact, after playing for long periods of time, you might experience a little bit of drop in frame rates, but I think that's actually quite normal. You already have the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, the most powerful, efficient as well processor in this OnePlus 10T, so this is the best that you can get. Apart from that, if you notice the RAM, the storage, everything here is the fast version. You have the LPDDR5 RAM, you have UFS 3.1 storage. That basically means that everything here is tailored to be very fast, and this is what I actually felt when using the device. It has not slowed down at all. So that's the first thing that I want to mention about. Now the second thing here is a little bit about OxygenOS. Now this is also carrying the OxygenOS 12. Unfortunately, although OnePlus did announce the OxygenOS 13, it did not happen to be on this device, so maybe we'll have to wait for the next flagship. Anyways, the OxygenOS 12 is just like what you may be familiar with. It is very minimal, there is no bloatware whatsoever. There's only a couple of key native applications that you can find in the phone itself, and I appreciate that because I don't have to delete all the apps on my own. Apart from that, OxygenOS comes with a few features, but I do feel that OxygenOS needs a bit more updates because we are lacking a little bit of cool stuff that we can find on other UIs. So definitely hope more stuff comes to OxygenOS. Now let's move on and talk about the third thing here. One thing that I also was really impressed with is actually in terms of the cameras at the back. Now the cameras here is a very interesting combination. While we do have that 50 megapixel Sony IMX766 that some people are still calling a flagship, I think it is a slightly higher mid-range kind of sensor. Not really flagship level because these days we have way more powerful camera systems on smartphones, but yeah, this sensor is actually quite alright. In terms of the ultra wide, it's also an 8 megapixel unit, and that final 2 megapixel macro or depth lens doesn't really actually help you to do anything. Alright, so let's talk about the image quality. Now, like I said, I was traveling for the past 1 week plus, and I had this as my main device, or should I say the main camera that's in my pocket, so I took a lot of shots, guys. And I must say I was really impressed with the cameras coming out of the OnePlus 10T. Let me show you guys a couple of shots here because you can really tell that this is a very good camera on the OnePlus 10T. So shots taken during the day come with a lot of detail, great dynamic range. You can see that the colors are not super saturated. They're a little bit saturated, more saturated than normal, but not to the point where it's too extensive. Apart from that, if you notice, night shots are also very clean, minimal noise. I really enjoyed using the cameras on the back here, and again, I was consistently using this camera, so I think it's actually quite great. Now, in terms of the video side of things, we also get 4K at 60 FPS. That's my typical kind of use. I don't really use 8K or anything like that. And the sweet spot is really at 4K at 60 FPS, and it was able to do a pretty decent job there. The OIS also helped to stable the video a little bit, so that's great. After half a day, we finally have the green man to go. Again, this is the speed that I'm walking at, so I would imagine this is actually fairly quick. And you guys let me know what the stabilization looks like. I'm recording 4K at 60 FPS, so everything should be fairly smooth here. Just gonna walk backwards now because there's a plane coming. I'll try and zoom a little bit, and there you go. overall, just in terms of the cameras, I would say that it's sufficient here on the OnePlus 10T. Nothing too much to complain about that with the cameras here. Now, last but not least, I should mention a little bit about battery life. Now, battery-wise, we do get, if I'm not mistaken, a 4800 mAh battery in here. It's not the largest for sure, but the charging speeds is really crazy. So due to my super heavy usage with the OnePlus 10T, I actually had to charge the device maybe once or twice a day. Now this is a very isolated case and most people will usually be able to pull through an entire day on one single charge, but me personally, I was testing it out really extensively, so 2 charges a day. And the good news here is that it does 0 to 100% in just 19 minutes, guys. That's crazy fast. Under 20 minutes for 0 to 100%. So I never had any battery anxiety. I know for a fact that if my battery drops down to way below, I can charge up the device very quickly. So that's my take on the battery and charging speeds. Alright, so overall, how does it feel like to use the OnePlus 10T? I must say that I'm really happy with the performance that I'm getting from this guy. Now, I noticed that when the device launched, a fair bit of people weren't too impressed with the OnePlus 10T, but you guys have to try it out to actually experience it. I hope today's video gave you a little bit of sense of how it actually feels like to use the OnePlus 10T. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Again, thank you for staying all the way to the end. My voice is a bit off because I have a sore throat, but you guys stay safe, take care, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!